Without any delay here, we're going to bring on board the first panel, which is on building solutions in the open. So sharing with us values of what it means to have these locally built solutions with their local experiences. I'll bring on stage Audry, who's coming to us all the way from Cameroon, representing Map and Rank. We then have Maja from Intelligent Network Systems based in Albania, Margarita from Renovus, Uruguay. And to moderate this session, we have our very own special Aki Enkenberg from the Finland government, from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who is going to moderate the session for us today. Thank you so much, Aki.
Thank you. We were racing against time there, getting our mics done, but we succeeded to get here on the stage on time, and it's great to have you here. So
nice
looking forward to the discussion, really. So we have about 25 minutes, and the topic of the panel was kind of introduced already. So we'll be discussing local solutions, solutions that grow out of local communities, but are also globally significant in terms of really trying to identify and scale solutions to some of the climate challenges that we're faced today at the global level. So we have, I mean, you can talk more about who you represent, your companies and so on in a minute, and your names were already mentioned, but we have three very interesting panelists here. As mentioned, Fanka from Map and Rank, Maja from INS, and Margarita from Renovus. And maybe I'll pass it on to you almost immediately, and I'll ask all three of you to talk a bit about where you come from. What is the company like that you represent? What are you developing? What is the solution? And what are you trying to achieve through that? So this kind of a brief introduction. I'll start from here.
Okay. Nice to meet you all. We're really happy to be part of the Venture Fund. And I come from Uruguay, and our company is called Renovus. We are an IT company specialized in renewable energy. And we are working on a new product that is called Solar Rec, with the goal to democratize the access to solar energy in underserved communities in developing countries. And the way that we're going to do that is by providing access to financial instruments that today are available mostly only to large generators. And we want to make that accessible to families, small businesses and communities, so they can start having access to energy, but also if they want, switch and become smaller generators. And we're going to do that with a platform that allows to generate digital certificates that can be sold and bought by large companies that they have the need to mitigate their CO2 footprint. And we believe that's the way to make more accessible the solar energy to small generators, but it's also a new source of income to them. So it's going to be a way to expand its presence in developing countries. Our big question is, what if everybody had access to energy, and what if it is 100% renewable, right?
Okay, my name is Maja. I'm representing Intelligent Network Solutions. So we are a company that has like 5 offices, representing like 3 continents. Our very new office is located in Albania. And here in Albania, we have like a great issue with the waste management. That's why we got the idea for developing a platform that will detect the illegal landfills in the country, but as well to monitor the legal landfills in the country. The current situation in Albania is that the capital city, Tirana, has producing waste of 30% in the whole country. But we also face the problem with the illegal construction waste, because maybe you all know that Albania has a very nice sea, and they're investing a lot in tourism right now. And we are facing the issue of depositing waste all around the place. That's why we are building a platform by using AI to represent all the illegal landfills on the map. We will do that by uploading images, their raster images. So these illegal landfills will be shown on the map, and we believe that the public institution, knowing this information, will do something. But also we will evoke awareness to the public, to put a pressure on this public institution to do something about the waste.
All right. Thank you, Margarita and Maja. And then Fanka.
Okay, I am Audry, and I'm representing Map and Rank Cameroon. And our solution is to provide actionable data that will help communities to better prepare for disasters. This solution is called Residad, and it is a community-based approach for data generation and hosting. And this data will be available for communities. And we use drones to leverage drone mapping, big data, and community intelligence to generate this data for these vulnerable communities.
Okay, thank you. Really, really interesting. And if we can, you mentioned already, communities and the context that you work in. Maybe we could go a little deeper on that question. And I could ask you, how do you or how have you actually worked with communities or community kind of driven approaches in developing your solutions? And we could start maybe with you, Audry, if you could explain how does that relationship actually work, and how have you involved people and beneficiaries in your work?
All right. Initially, our aim was to create awareness about the climate hazard impacts in these communities. And we started with cardboard games, which are family games in form of visuals, visualizing the climate change science, the causes, the impacts, the possible solutions, and how these communities can adapt to this environment. But when we got to the communities to distribute these cardboard games, questions like how are we going to know when disasters are going to happen? How do we know what are we supposed to do after it happens with arising? So we thought of building a platform whereby community members can be notified, where they can be notified about the happenings around their areas, where they can know the areas that are more vulnerable to these hazards. So this idea, the questions they were giving us brought us to the idea that we could develop this platform.
So it was also them being part of the ideation process or so on. Excellent. Okay.
Yes. As Intelligent Network Solution headquarters has a global expertise in GIS solution. And we already had like a project with the city of Tirana, and facing the issue with the waste, and having them as the already, how can I say, like a contact, we got the idea for developing this kind of solution, so we can move and motivate them to start doing something about the waste. Besides this kind of public institution, like I said, the city of Tirana, we are hoping that having information that on this way we can get information about the waste and how the size of the waste is progressing during some period. With scheduled scanning, we can have this information, and honestly, we are hoping that some of the eco-organizations that are working in Albania can use this data and push this public institution to do something about this waste, because we all know that the waste affects all of us. And that's how we got the idea behind the solution, because the current state in Tirana is that we only have like one legal landfill, and they have already paid like for 3 to build, but nothing happened. So the main idea was to push the public institution to do something. That's why we're developing this kind of solution, to detect the illegal landfills and also to monitor the size of the legal landfills.
Now, are you facing any resistance in the process?
Oh yes, of course. Yes, we have a very interesting discussion on this workshop with our Leslie Econ, and yes, we are facing the resistance, but beside the public institution, honestly, we are hoping and believing that the eco-organization can make pressure on them and advocacy for the public institution and be more present, so we can make baby steps. But also, I hope that if they start doing something, if there are any positive results, they will want to share it with the public.
Okay, good. And Margarita, how does it look for you?
Yes, well, being from Uruguay, it's not very well known, but we are very strong in renewable energy. We are the second country in the world with the highest penetration in unconventional renewable energy after Denmark. And we are very strong in software too. We have over 500 IT companies exporting to the world. So from us, that we come from the IT world, we wanted to bring technology to this new sector. And when we started to learn a little bit more, one of the first things that we saw is that, for example, Latin America has 10 times less capacity of generating distributed solar energy than Europe, when we have so much better weather and more sunny days. So it's kind of curious. And we started to ask ourselves, okay, why is this happening? And of course, is an economical barrier. And the main financial instrument for large generators are the certificates. So when we saw that a new market was coming, that it was for small generators, that's called DREC, we said, okay, this is the right moment to do something about it, and that's how SolarRake became a reality, and we're working on it. But we believe it's the first step. Like, we were the other day here, and there was a mentor that was talking about PRECs, and there's the possibility to adding mobility, electricity at some point. So this is just starting.
Good, yeah. Do you think that companies such as the ones that you are part of leading can act as intermediaries between citizens and grassroots and then governments also? Can you help to develop that relationship to a healthy direction?
Of course. Yes, we are planning to work with NGOs, and because they already have access to the communities, and with governments. And we really started in Uruguay, but our goal is to take this solution across the world, right, to developing countries.
Yeah.
Yes, we are living in the same city, in the same country. We are all facing the same problem. regardless if we are working in IT company or NGO or eco-organization, we have to do something. So I think, yes, we have like a sense to listen the needs of the market as well the needs of the people in our country.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, we are planning to work with the local government authorities, the NGOs, the cooperatives, and in such a way they will be able to log into our platform, and then they can equally share their information. They share whatever thing they have in the platform about these climate issues.
It shows the power of partnerships, which really is what this event is also about. I would actually like to open it, not to dictate the discussion too much, open it also for any questions from the audience. If you have something in mind for the panel, and I think we have a mic there, please.
May I just, first of all, thanks to all the panelists for the presentation. I have a question for Audrey. I was in Geneva just a few weeks ago and spoke to the Federation of the Red Cross, where I realized that they are gearing up to use local national Red Cross organizations in a more efficient way when it comes to preventive action, climate action. And they seem to be increasingly well funded. So my question was basically, have you seeked out your local Red Cross? Do you think it all depends on how strong it is on a national level, but otherwise it's a tip from my side to possibly see whether you can draw on these volunteers as well, unless you already have. Thank you.
I see, not yet. We've not reached out to Red Cross yet.
But it's a good tip.
Yeah.
It is.
But funding, of course, a major obstacle often. Access to funding, access to financing, which is something that the Venture Fund can also provide. But what types of challenges have you had in terms of accessing funding to grow your companies and solutions? Is it easy or difficult?
Never easy. No, never easy.
Let's start with you, Audrey.
Okay, there is competition for grants with companies, because companies usually compete for the same grants, and then this makes it difficult for all the companies to get the grants. Yeah, there is equally limited resources to be able to run the company, and then the lack of expertise in these communities to be able to provide what is needed. Yeah.
I can agree with her. Yes, the application process is not easy, and especially in the Balkans country, we need more expertise in this kind of application processes and grants. I think that most of the companies and startups are not familiar with this application, because also, as I mentioned before, they're not easy. There are too many information, and also reporting is required, and I think it's a bit challenging. But if we have more workshop on this kind of topics, I think more companies will be motivated or startups to apply for grants.
You mean for grants from public sources?
Yes. Because, as I mentioned, they lack a knowledge on how to prepare application.
Yeah.
They don't even they're not aware that this kind of grants are existing.
Sure.
Well, in our case, I believe Uruguay has a strong entrepreneur ecosystem. So when we started with the company a year and a half ago, we received a grant from the National Innovation Agency locally in Uruguay. So it was the first step that we were doing something interesting in a new sector, right? And then we started to participate in the venture fund. So it's hard, all the process, and you have to be prepared and dedicate a lot of time, but it's worth it. So we believe that we are doing a great good and we want to have impact, and people see that the potential. So we're happy about it.
Yeah, I saw a question from Thomas.
First, I want to say how fantastic it is to have a female panel. In the tech world, this is quite rare.
Yeah.
And we are very proud of the 120 some investments we've made to support this company. About 40+% are actually headed by women, and that's something that I think is quite powerful as a message. But I have a question, Margarita. We were discussing yesterday, and we were discussing about scale, and you immediately said, yes, we have a global vision, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask maybe the three panelists, did you start with a global vision? Did you start from the community and then went global? How fast? And if so, how fast did you get to no, we have to go global?
Uruguay is such a small country. We are 3.5 million that I already mentioned. We have 500 IT companies exporting to the world. So we start thinking globally because our domestic market is not enough. So I believe that if even sometimes it's a barrier to come from a small country, we have overcome that as a country because we are always looking abroad. And also, I have been in the startup world for so long. I started with 18 years working at Endeavor. I don't know if you know about it. It's a nonprofit organization supporting entrepreneurs. And I learned early on from entrepreneurs that to scale, to grow, you have to think big. So that's my answer.
Yes, I can agree with Margarita. Yes, starting this solution was one step, but sharing this solution with the world is our final goal.
Okay, we started in the community, and we are still in the community because this our solution is place-based. So we map out the various communities in, let's say, in Cameroon. And then maybe with time, we'll be able to spread out to other areas.
Is your focus more in the country or in the region or also beyond the region?
In regions that are mostly affected by disasters.
Absolutely. Any other final questions? A couple there in the back. Let's have both, and then we can discuss.
Hi, thank you for the presentations. I was wondering if the fact that it is open source is a challenge to raise funds. Thank you.
And then
That's a good question.
let's have the other one as well.
Yeah, Margarita did mention it as well. I was just wondering, outside of your product, what aspects of communities really help propel you as companies, like supporting ecosystems?
Yeah, interesting questions. Let's start with the open source one. Is that a challenge or a big promise for you?
I believe it's a challenge. First of all, preparing to be open source, it's going to be a challenge. You can see our CTO, co-founder, that made a lot of notes these days. But I believe it's going to be some filter on funds that they won't like to invest on this, but we will navigate the process and see where it goes. We really want to make an impact, and we believe that UNICEF approach is great, so we are committed to make it happen.
Yes, to be honest, for me and for my colleague Bodan, it is a very challenging project because we have never been working on an open source project, and the mentors had already know that, and we had a lot of questions, but I think we can manage to do it.
Okay, Audrey.
Okay, for us, I think it will be challenging working with open source, but I believe that we'll be able to, with our mentors, we'll be able to pull through this.
Okay. And then the other question about, going back to the issue of communities and where you come from and who you work with. So what was the question? In what other ways, has the community helped you or assisted you in addition to the product itself?
You mean on the ecosystem, like more on the entrepreneurial side or on the social?
Yeah, I'd say I think ecosystem initiatives, like having a co-working space nearby or just talented bunch of developers that all kind of work together, share knowledge, or we got a grant from the National
Innovation Agency, yes.
Certain ecosystem things that really help prop you up, put you where you are.
Yes, well, I have been part of that world since very young, so it helped us. I worked on there for 8 years, so only being part inside that world, helping other entrepreneurs to reach their goals, it was part of my professional career, right? I always say that I did an MBA, but my real MBA was working with the companies, right? So, but then Uruguay is really strong with other kind of supports, and it's easy. It's a small country, so when you are inside the ecosystem, it's easy to navigate the system. And having the support, for example, of the National Innovation Agency was very important for us, was the first validator that we were doing something interesting. And I believe that when you are a startup, you need that small validators across the way. So start small with a little fund, and then it will open doors in the process.
Yeah. Any final reflections on this?
I can say that it will be challenging because our new office currently used resources, but outsource resources. But taking in mind that we want to promote the solution in the region and then globally, we hope that we will have new colleagues and try to employ people from Albania so they can work in our office.
Okay, what we get from the community is the history of past disasters. This is the only information we can get from the community. We get the history of the past disasters. So, yeah. That's it. The history.
All right, good, thanks. This is a very interesting discussion, so thank you, Margarita, Maja and Audrey. It's been a real pleasure being with you here today, and I think we can wrap it up and give the stage to others now, but thanks again.